It was just a vibe. It was something totally different where the people got a chance to share thoughts, share their souls, and people got a chance to connect. And that's my big thing is connections. And I think that was an event where you didn't have to be screaming and shouting over anybody. You could connect with people. People got a chance to share thoughts, opinions, and you got a chance to also see educators outside of traditional K-12 space.
Right. Welcome, everybody, back to another exciting episode of the UnDisrupted Podcast, coming to you live from ISTE Live. That's hashtag ISTE Live. Adam, it's the last day of ISTE. How you feeling?
I have survived.
At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. I kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
I mean, it was amazing to be around 18,000.
Of your closest friends.
My closest friends, yeah.
I'll just tell you all this, just a little behind the scenes of the podcast. So whenever you walk the halls with the Dr. Adam File and his amazing, beautiful knuckles, it is really hard not to be stopped by just random people.
And that's Knuckles with a K.
We left to go do a session yesterday at 9 o'clock from our hotel room, and then it was only supposed to be a 10-minute walk. We got there at 9:50 because, we went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Thanks to our navigator. And then, but we ended up at the session, and then we found out afterwards that the session was actually recorded live, which was kind of fun.
And being broadcast to all the areas. People were like, "Oh yeah, I heard your voice. I'm like, "Okay, from where?" Everywhere.
Do you ever get kind of like, you and I have talked about this a little bit, but isn't it kind of weird sometimes when people recognize you, your celebrity status? I mean, they come up, they want to hug you, they want to touch your knuckles, you know?
Yes. And on that note, people stop by like, what are you talking about?
By, and now they want to see him, but he's keeping him behind the table, folks. You can see that on the camera. Got to pay a little extra.
What are you talking about?
You got to pay extra to Adam's OnlyHands account if you want to see his knuckles.
So at this conference, Carl, what is something that you saw that you were just like, oh, that's super cool?
You know, I mean, obviously, I got to stick with the buzzword here, which is AI, and I feel like it's the power of, I look across the hall from where we're recording right now, and I see booths set up there, I see the metaverse, I see all this, but I see the letters AI everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just been on the tip of the tongue of every conversation I've talked to with people. And so for me, that's still kind of the big thing. That said, I see some virtual reality kind of making it a little more mainstream. I mean, it's still not quite there for everybody, and we're not going to be buying Apple Vision Pros anytime soon.
No,
unless they want to support this podcast by sending us 2 free Apple Vision Pros, in which case we'll gladly wear them. So yeah, that's me. What about you? What have you seen that's kind of made you think, go, huh?
Well, before I do that, one thing I want to say though about the AI piece.
Yeah.
Sup, Craig?
Craig in the house.
Newton County's finest. Once again, did I mention we're live, y'all?
Yeah, that's right. But you can just say it. I mean, we'll record it and then we'll worry about our other people having to edit it, not us. This can all be in there too, and people are listening going, wow, here come some kids, here come some students walking by right now. Where are you guys
Australia,
from?
right?
Sydney. All right.
Okay, you got to do the thing.
What thing?
The Aussie?
Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie! Y'all heard that? That was being recorded live on the podcast, UnDisrupted. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Oh, they're giving us some. We're getting some little. What are these here?
No, never had fantail before.
So, boys, what's a fantail?
It's chocolate and it's got hard caramel inside.
Oh, you know what my favorite thing is in Australia? These things called Tim Tams. You have a you like the Tim Tams?
Okay, so because we're recording on the video, could I get like half of y'all like right over here and like half of y'all over here so our audience can kind of see?
Just wave in, so we're not just talking together.
Yeah, they're like, who are you guys talking to?
The camera's right there. You can see the camera.
Yeah. We got an amazing camera from IPVO that does the whole 180, so it goes like literally from that speaker down to that other speaker.
Yeah, so we can see you right now too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like what brings y'all to ISTE? Why are you guys here? Who can answer for us?
Quinn, do you want to answer that question?
We got a height.
What brings us to ISTE?
Yeah, why are you at ISTE?
To help show people our deep understanding and what we use to show our deep understanding of learning in our units of inquiry.
That was very professionally done. I am very impressed. That's awesome, Quinn. So what's been the most exciting thing that you kids have seen here at ISTE? You guys are here learning and teaching things, but is there something exciting that anybody wants to share that they learned?
Harrison, what have you found most exciting?
I found most exciting like what's in the expo. For example, the Prelude. I thought that was pretty fun. and we also have one of those at school.
Nice. Get any good swag? Did you go through the hall and pick up any like free things as you were walking through the hall? All the free candy.
They got to make it through customs with that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We have a good friend, Kathy Hunt from Australia. She's up from in Gold Coast, and she flew over here with a whole bunch of Play-Doh to do an art activity. Well, unfortunately, when you have Play-Doh in an airplane bag, it looks like it could be explosive. So she was in big trouble for that. So don't take any Play-Doh home, kids. All right, tell us what school. Give us a shout out. What school are you guys at? Awesome. Oh wait, say it again in the microphone.
Knox Grammar in Sydney, Australia.
All right.
And these boys are actually presenting today.
Oh, get you around this way. Oh, we got the teacher over here too.
Yeah, get him in there.
Get him in.
So these boys are actually going to be presenting today at 1 o'clock in the Marriott space. It's a session called Promoting Empathy and Personalizing Learning with AR, VR, and XR. So they're very excited.
Wow, awesome. All right, so come check out their session at 1 o'clock, folks. Those of you that are walking by right there in the Marriott space, you said, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Very good. Thank you all for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Oh, you left? Is this for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a little koala. Got to watch out for those drop bears. I heard about those. Someone told me about them. I'm scared to go back now. There's an inside joke there with Brett Salakis, our good friend Brett, who's been on the podcast. I think he was one of our first guests, actually. From Down Under, and he's told me a little bit about the drop bears, which I don't know if you're familiar with those.
No, nothing.
You're gonna have to look
about
that one up. It's similar to chupacabras.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'd say here.
But you know what? That kind of just spontaneous situation we just had only happens here at ISTE.
That's true. Yep.
ISTE Live. Let me make sure I'm saying this right thing. At ISTE Live.
Now I realize why that his microphone didn't pick up, because I didn't actually have it turned up. So that's fun. But these microphones did pick up. Hopefully you at home got to see that, of course, after the fact. But next year, Adam, ISTE's in Denver. What are your early thoughts? Is it too early to think about next year? But I think we're already kind of planning for it.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest thing I'm just looking forward to ISTE is just the numbers growing, because I want to say previously we were at 14,000 attendees here last year. This year we're up to 18,000 attendees, and projections we were going to hit about 24,000. And also this is the first year we've had ISTE ASCD together, so just really bringing both halves of organizations together, creating this massive entity that's going to do good work in the realm of education.
I got to show you guys this suit. Come around here real quick, because there's a camera right here. We're just sitting here recording, and this gentleman walks by. Look at this suit. What's your name, sir?
Bill Donahue.
Where are you at?
Monroe and Bosse's in Rochester, New York.
Awesome. I love this suit, man. Adam, I can't believe it. Somebody actually has a brighter suit than you.
I have been dethroned.
See? He's working on it.
Gotta bring some smiles.
I love it, man.
Exactly. It's all about the smiles and having fun.
Thanks, Bill. Enjoy your ISTE. And then we have none other than Mike Washburn also walking by, coming to say hi. You're on camera, Mike. Look, come around and say hi.
Come around
and say this. Oh, look right there. Hey. How's it going?
Yeah, come on around.
Come over here to say hi for a second. This is Mike Washburn, folks. This is what we're doing. We're doing a kind of a live on-the-spot interviews. Mike Washburn, tell us who you are, what you do, and then, in one word, describe your ISTE experience.
Mike Washburn, Director of Education for Logix Academy in Canada. ISTE's been amazing. I actually have no presentations this time, so I've just been walking around and talking to people. So freedom is my one word.
Freedom. Somewhat appropriate in the land of liberty here. That's right. Love it.
Yeah, with me being on the board, I have not been able to have that freedom to walk around.
I was going to ask you that, Adam. So what's life like as a board president? Not board president, as a board member. Thanks, Mike. As being a board member, and I see you kind of hastily running from appointment to appointment, shaking babies, kissing hands.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
The other way around.
I don't think that's how it goes. That's how I had gotten in trouble before.
Yeah, that's right. For those of you who aren't aware, remember, those of you that are fans of the podcast will remember that Adam was fired from his volunteer job years ago. We'll hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, volunteer job. I got fired on my day off from that. But you know what? The thing that we really have been wanting to ensure that all the board members are doing is just really connecting with our membership. That's been a challenge because we have been disconnected for so long. And even though we were back in person last year, just by having a growth of 4,000 from last year to this year shows that we have more people that are out, that are experiencing, that are reconnecting. And that's the thing that I think the board is the most proud of, that we're having a space where some places, some organizations are kind of shrinking their events, and we're continuing to grow this event.
I love that, yeah. And you were talking, before Mike walked up, we were talking about the ASCD, ISTE merger.
Yeah.
We've seen some of the presence here today. Those of you that are here at ISTE Live have noticed this. Those of you who are listening to this later, there's an ASCD bookstore, there's an ISTE bookstore. Safe to say at some point that's going to just merge, or are they staying independent organizations? I don't know how much you can spill, but I figured since you're here, I might as well ask you.
I mean, unless the information gets released from the files that I keep in my bathroom, I cannot.
You're not supposed to show those to people. You know that, right?
Yes, I can't.
Don't show Kid Rock.
I can't share that information with anybody at this current moment. But it's some big things popping and little things stopping coming from the new organization. Let's just say that.
You didn't hear it here first, folks. That's right. He did not share it here because he doesn't want to get fired from his second volunteer job.
I've been sworn to secrecy.
Got to give a quick shout out to IPVO, by the way. IPVO doing. Those of you that don't know, we usually do this. We have a traveling camera. Last minute, didn't have anything, so Adam ran into the vendor hall. And they hooked us up. So those of you watching this now, post-recording, you see this wide angle. It's 180 degree. This is cool technology too. And I'm thinking about like classroom applications. You're somebody who spent a lot of years putting cameras in classrooms, looking at those 360 degree views. What's a good application for this?
Like when I see something like this, it's that blended learning, because yes, you're all in person now. A teacher could utilize a video recording like this to have that lesson, turn around and put it in your learning management platform, whether it's Schoology, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Canvas, any one of those platforms, having that ability. And even when you have your own board meetings, being able to do something like this, and the low cost of these cameras now are amazing, and the quality of the product is something that takes it to the next level.
Yeah, I'm loving just kind of the idea. I think having these kind of devices to bring kids in when they're out, even though we haven't gotten to a spot yet where I don't know that hybrid will ever be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But there are definitely places still where students are more comfortable learning online or in a hybrid environment, something along those lines. So having a couple of these spread out, it'd be good to bring those kids in as much as you can.
And it's one of those things, at one point, a camera that could do multiple angles, facial tracking, that software kind of existed, but no one was going to put it into a consumer product, something that you're going to have in the classrooms. Now we've decided to put it into a product. It's a space for it, and more people have access to it, kind of making it a more equitable space, if anything.
Yeah, I also think, I just realized that the microphones are on over here. That's why they're hot. There's other mics, I think, that are right here behind me. There we go. I heard a hot mic. Last night
That only happens live.
That only happens live. Last night we had just an amazing experience. Those of you that were available last night, you saw the EdTech Poetry Slam. I almost said lip sync battle. That's another one. We're gonna do that one at some point. And it was just a great experience. I don't know overall. I don't know what are your takeaways from it? You and I talked a lot about the crowd.
Yeah, like one of the things that I was saying about the EdTech Poetry Slam, it was a vibe.
Right.
And if you don't know,
now you know.
Now you know. It was just a vibe. It was something totally different where the people got a chance to share thoughts, share their souls, and people got a chance to connect. And that's my big thing is connections. And I think that was an event where you didn't have to be screaming and shouting over anybody. You could connect with people. People got a chance to share thoughts, opinions, and you got a chance to also see educators outside of traditional K-12 space.
Right.
And a chance for adults to be adults. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, my big thing is taking risks and trying new things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that embodies it in many ways. Not because of you and I are pretty comfortable getting up there and just saying our thing. But, for a lot of those people that I got text messages up to the last minute, like how nervous they were to go up. And these are people that have spoken at large events. They're used to getting up on stage. It wasn't like.
You're talking about superintendents to tech directors,
right,
to library media specialists. Yeah.
Consultants, people that are just used to being up there. And they were texting, like, why did I do this? Why did I agree to this? But at the end, what I've always discovered is afterwards, they always come up to me and say, like, that was I'm glad I did that. It was like there's something about doing it, and what I love about it was this time around, I was quick to prey upon the energy, and I went out there in the crowd and said, anybody else want to do this in Denver next year? And then 3 or 4 people came running up already and like signed up, like, I want to be a poet next year. I was like, all right, good. Because in about today, they're probably waking up going, what did I agree to do next year in Denver?
No, but the dope thing about what we did, you had someone from the audience that hadn't prepped or anything. We had one guest,
Joe Mama. Was his
Joe
name.
Mama. Came in and performed on the spot and did an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, didn't even have the word. He was memorized. Obviously knew what he was doing. I mean, this guy, a learned poet, as it were. But so I think, and again, it goes back to those, you were talking about the atmosphere and just the vibe. And that's such an interesting thing. It's so hard to create that. And I think that's the challenge of always, truth be told, and you being a board member, you know this, but, having these large events, you lose some of that vibe because we're so spread out. I mean, and we joked about how far we walked yesterday to get to our session, but, it's because there's so many sessions. And so we also joked, there's people here that we'll never see.
Yep.
Friends of ours that we know forever that we just haven't seen, but there's other people that we see like all the time. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily that we want to see them. No, not really, but that's how do you take us, and you just said it's going to get bigger next year. How do you take something that's this big and make it feel that vibe? How do you give it that energy, or is it even possible?
Well, I know one of the things that ISTE did this past year, they have these affinity groups, and so they had different affinity group meetups where members that are in different subgroups, I know one, they had an affinity group meeting for LGBTQ+. They had an affinity group meeting. They had an affinity group meeting for Pacific Asian Americans. They had an African American affinity group meetup. So you had various subgroups that were able to have a space to kind of connect, find out, oh, you're doing a session, you're doing this, let me come out and support you. What are you doing after hours? Those are those kind of events that I encourage anybody to be a part of. Find your tribe, find your group. Yep. Our EdTech group, there's people that we meet up with, we hung out with, and we all connected at these types of events. And right now, if I have a question about something that's going on, we were talking about AI, and I know some people are leaning into it heavier than others. I can just put a question out there. Hey, have you seen this? What are your thoughts on this? Who's somebody to have this conversation with? Because like you said earlier, if someone has the answers for AI, they're lying. Because we're all figuring this out. But some people have listened to or been a part of more conversations than others.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think finding those groups and those voices and connection, and then keeping the conversation going forward is always tricky because we get back from these, and I see people walking by like they look exhausted. They're just like, okay, we're on day 7. What day is it? It's been the longest month of my life this week. And so coming back, and what are some things you do? I mean, I'll jot down some things. You're really good about taking photos, like to kind of capture some things. Like I didn't do that well this time. So what are you doing to reflect on the way back when you leave? And you're leaving with multiple roles because now the Future Ready role, the ISTE board member role, the presenting, everything.
Like, I'm really going to try. Well, you know what? I'm going to try to do something that you normally do. I'm going to try to write when on my flight back. I'm going to get out my laptop and I'm going to try to write and really put it in, I don't know, some kind of vague blog format and make it rewritten with the help of ChatGPT. But just really get all my thoughts out of my brain and put them in something that I can see and process it later. How are you going to do?
Same thing. I mean, if I don't get it out, and it's usually if I can get to the airport and get started on that, that's my goal. And then I try to, also if there's you get a lot of business cards. I mean, and whether it doesn't matter what position you are in the world of education, you're inundated with all this. And so I'm trying better now to capture what was the conversation that was had, doing follow-ups, and just being respectful of that because that's another part of this is how do you make those connections and foster those relationships going forward so that next year we can just pick it right up again in Denver.
Well, you're speaking of business cards, and I'm going to tell all our listeners out there my hack, as the kids call it. It's a hack for a conference. So if you know anything about wearing a blazer, you have 2 pockets. You have one on your right, one on your left, your breast pockets. And so when I get a card from somebody, and I look at the card, and you're being nice, having a conversation, but it's like one of those where it may not be the perfect fit, but I'm going to be nice. I put that in my pocket on my right side.
So you realize you're now telling everybody this. So when someone
no, this is just a hack. This is
No, I mean, but other people are going to come up to you and say, "Hey, Adam, here's my business card," and they're going to watch. to see what pocket you put it in.
Oh, they wouldn't do that.
You just told everybody that. Maybe we'll cut this part out.
Hey, Carl,
Look right
get a
up
wave.
Hey, coming up to you live up there on the balcony.
Streaming live back to Canada.
That's right.
So the ones that I really like, I put on my left side. Because I look at it this way, like, this pocket, I think is closer to my heart. So I can remember, I love this stuff. So that's why it's over here. I still want to know about it, so I'm going to put it in this other pocket on my right. But if I love it, I put it over here on my left.
You're nicer than I am. I put the business cards in my pocket right here on my back of my jeans pocket. So I want it close to I want to keep the end in mind, I think. Yeah, exactly.
They get all bent and crusty.
Yeah. Well, we're always honored to be part of these events, and then having a space now to do some podcasting is always great. I think next year we're going to try to build this out a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
For ISTE in June, late June. Do you have the dates already? Was it June?
Yeah, we have the dates. Don't ask me, though. I haven't slept yet.
It's always that last week. In Denver, folks, will be the next place that hopefully...
The Mile High City.
That's right.
That has the creepy horse, a bronco, at the airport with, like, the red eyes.
I think that's, like, their mascot.
Yeah, but this is so, like, scary.
All right, well, this has been the UnDisrupted Podcast, brought to you live from ISTE. That is right, ISTE Live. He's Adam, and you can follow him at AskAdam3.
And he's Carl, and you can follow him at Mr. Hooker. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages.
Even from Australia.
Yes.
Remember, we are better together.
And we're better undisrupted.